Hello and welcome. I've got the camera up there and the microphone down here, so hopefully this is good. So I'm going to do a little talk here, and I've named it Anti-New Age Critics Who Are More New Age Than the New Agers They Dislike. This is a topic which has been whirling around in my head now for a while because it completely mystifies me. It bewilders me, and I'm trying to understand it. I did make a video a while back where I was just recording my thoughts. I've never published that video because it turned into kind of a meandering conversation, and I think in essence I was just trying to give myself therapy. So I'm going to try and re-record this today, and hopefully it'll be a bit more coherent and cohesive than the thing I attempted to do last time. Because when I first recorded this, what I'm going to do now, I was so triggered and upset, and it's something that I had to work through. But today, I've actually got some notes like a professional because I've tried to break it down into different points, and this is what I'm going to do. So, when I say anti-New Age critics who are more New Age than the New Agers they dislike, it's born out of a few people who have cropped up online over the years and over the last few months in particular. And they seem to be relentless in their attack. And I don't know why it triggers me so much because they barely have any following. I think it's the kind of thing where if you were doing a show, it can be that one heckler who throws you. Magenta and I have such overwhelming positivity coming towards us, love and support and respect and intelligent sharing and discussion of ideas and concepts. We couldn't hope for more. For some reason, whenever some hater gets through, it throws me, and I'm not sure. It must be some unresolved issue in me. I'll own that. I'm not sure why it gets through my defenses, and it's something I'm working on. I think in particular, it's like when anybody you love, i.e. my wife, is attacked in any way, of course it's going to trigger you. Why it bugs me to this degree, I'm yet to figure out. Because like I say, it's not even like these people have a big following. Maybe it just distresses me that anybody could start thinking these weird, strange, warped ideas about my wife, her work, and her motivation. Anyway, I'm trying to be just like really intelligent and intellectual and unemotional about this. So I drew up some notes which will hopefully make sure I keep on track with my thoughts and ideas. So let's have a look. Right, so redefinition of the term New Age. This is something I've noticed. The people who attack all of the contemporary people who are in the New Age, they're redefining the term New Age. In addition, what does that even mean? The term New Age is not something that Magenta or I even particularly identify with. New Age is such a generic, amorphous term. It doesn't really describe anything. So to call somebody New Age and to redefine the term New Age like it's something bad or it's a slur term is really strange to me, because the New Age is often understood to be a collection of beliefs. Why people have localized on it like it's something sinister is astonishing. It's too general to define. It's not a thing in and of itself. It's a general descriptive term. Why people are redefining the term New Age to mean something bad is bizarre. If somebody threw the term New Age at me, number one, I wouldn't be insulted, and number two, I wouldn't even identify with that term. I prefer the term spiritual community. I don't like the term spiritual movement because the term movement suggests that it's a progressing army or it's got an aim. Spiritual community. This whole planet is made up of human beings who are all part of a spiritual community. We're trying to explore ideas and concepts and thoughts and feelings. It's wonderful. So, I can only think that the reason that these people are redefining the term New Age is because they have had a bad experience of the New Age or spirituality in general. Therefore, they are trying to justify to themselves and heal themselves by taking this scary New Age thing and throwing it out there and telling other people to identify it's New Age. It doesn't really mean anything in particular. I can only imagine that the motivation, the reason that these people are making these hate videos, these exposure videos, or these review videos, is because they themselves have had a bad experience in what they perceive they have termed the New Age or some other spiritual movement. They've kind of conglomerated it in their mind. It's New Age, it's bad. So the next point, that's my puddy cat. He likes to just have a little song in the evening. He's fine. You okay, buddy? Come and see me. He's a very talkative cat. These people often tend to have this false idea that all New Age folk have similar beliefs. And this is bizarre again. Hey, buddy. Let me tell the story. So I've seen this more and more. And like I say, it's a minority of people. There's not that many haters around. They seem to think that all New Age people are singing from the same hymn book. They have the same enthusiasm. Hello. My sweet guy, you having a little song? What is it you want? You enjoyed your tea? He's a good boy. That's my beautiful puddy cat, Jasper. So I was just talking to them. Yeah? Go sit there nice. Look at him. He's so pretty. He's such a good boy. For people to think that we're all following the same kind of protocols and concepts, be it an enthusiasm about unicorns, for example, that's a big cliche, that when we break wind, a rainbow comes out. I mean, these are really easy and funny insults. They don't offend me. I don't think you'd find anybody who would be insulted because you accused them of being enthusiastic about unicorns. I mean, yeah, unicorns are good. That's cool. It's quite an intriguing, mystical kind of, the mythology surrounding the unicorn. But it's not something I especially, or I think anybody especially, kind of focuses on exclusively. Maybe some people do. I don't know. But in crystals and tarot and chakras, these are concepts, but I don't think they're unique. I mean, Hinduism has got vast teachings about the chakra system. So do you call everything Hindu New Age? It's also interesting because I doubt these people would ever take on something as immersive or potentially controversial as the Quran. I've studied the Quran and the Bible and other mystical texts which are kind of extra biblical, like Gnostic texts. And these are incredible and fascinating. And if you read some of them, sometimes some of them read like a kind of channeling or something. I could show you stuff, especially from a group of texts called the Nag Hammadi scriptures. They were discovered like relatively recently, just after the Second World War. And there's one, I think it's called, what is it called? Perfect Mind, something like that. Thunder, Perfect Mind, something like that. And it reads just like a channeling, because it's like, I am male, I am female, I'm paraphrasing, but it's all about contrasts and diversity of the human condition, and that you can be this thing and that thing simultaneously. And this is ancient Gnostic wisdom. So to think that everybody New Age is somehow united in some central core of beliefs that they're pushing is bizarre. And for anybody to start thinking that, I think it shows a kind of dogma in their head rather than any of the spiritual teachers that they're looking at and criticizing. Okay, next thing. Just what I was saying before. I think some people start on this rampage, this character assassination of people in the New Age because it reminds them of an experience they've had, or they go looking for people who remind them of people who have maybe upset them in the past. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not pretending to know their motivations for sure, but it seems by the time these people appear, they have already decided they dislike you. They've already decided that they know what you're about. And I can only imagine that something is being triggered in them and they've gone looking for people who remind them of somebody that made them feel bad. Okay, I'm not sure. See, I've talked to people, and I'm not sure if this is actually a motivation. Jealousy. I think it's too obvious to say that these people are jealous, but I have heard it said that they're jealous that they wish they were more successful in a similar area. And also, I've seen recently some people they actually blame the algorithms. They will make these hate videos, and then they will blame the algorithms on certain sites why they haven't got more views or more following, and they say that the actual New Agers are somehow controlling the algorithms. It's like, that's just sour grapes. Come on. That's a little bit childish. I'm not being patronizing, but it is. If I upload a video of me singing and I'm terrible and it hardly gets any views and I get the feedback I get is negative, it doesn't mean because successful musical artists are keeping me down. I mean, come on, that's just sour grapes. That's just silly. Okay. Maybe these people believe they're on some kind of divine mission when they make these silly review or exposure videos, because these exposure and review videos, then they are never actually a respectful or intelligent presentation. They make false accusations, like the person is somehow harnessing black magic. They focus on like you're using dark symbols or symbology. And then the old cliches, you're channeling AI, you're bringing in dark entities. They literally make up stories, and I think maybe they feel they're justified in their mission, or maybe they genuinely believe that the information they're thinking is somehow real. I'm not sure. And the bizarre thing, they never review anybody they actually like. They never give you a counterbalance of an example of somebody they do like and they do respect in the spiritual community. They just go for the people they don't like. And by the time they even start their video, they've already made up their mind. So I don't know what that's about. They also have this, like I say, these are just bullet points of things I've noticed. It doesn't mean I have an authoritative command trying to profile the psychology of these people. It's just based on my own experiences over the last few years. They have this false belief that all successful New Agers or spiritual people are somehow in collusion with each other. Like we constantly check up on what people are doing, and we want to agree on what our motivation or our agenda is, which again is bizarre. And it's like, I can understand when things don't make sense to you, you have to try and fill in the blanks. And this goes on to my next point, and I'm not being patronizing here at all. It's about, I think, sometimes these people can have psychological, mental issues or personality problems, which draws them to this kind of behavior. And I say that with the greatest respect and sympathy. I've had friends and family over the years, and they can get drawn into certain types of obsessions or certain ways they approach friendships or relationships or misgivings they've had at work with their colleagues. And I think it's something that can affect us all, and we can get into this negative spiral of thinking a certain way, and then the way we visit a problem or an issue that sits in our head isn't healthy, and it gets into this weird state where we are passing it through this strange filter in our head. It's like, remember when you were a kid, if you decided you didn't like someone, then little by little, everything about them you would dislike. You'd be in the school playground, the way they talked, the clothes they wore, the way they ate their food, the things they liked. You would just pass it through this filter in your head, which wasn't actually based on anything they were doing. After a while, you would just dislike them for the sake of it. And I think the hope is, by the time you mature, you kind of grow out of that behavior and you stop kind of going on a witch hunt looking for people you dislike, and then everything they do, it just reinforces your dislike towards them. Now, this is the next bizarre, strange thing. Many of these haters, and this just goes back to what I was saying about they may have had a bad experience themselves in the New Age, is that they offer material and therapies, which are often incredibly expensive, by the way, and it is incredibly like esoteric and spiritual, and what many people would term New Age. They offer these therapies. So I think maybe because they started out in the spiritual community, maybe they started to turn into a kind of person they didn't like themselves. Maybe they're seeing in themselves the kind of abhorrent person that they now imagine other people are. And they have redefined the term New Age to not include themselves, even though they are offering like bizarre and outlandish prices for therapies that they think, they've endorsed themselves. They won't endorse anybody else. They trash everyone else, but they do approve of themselves and their own therapies. And it would be stuff like remote healing and artificial intelligence removal and entity removal and drawing in this and drawing in that, communicating with your starseed origins. There seems to be that some kind of dovetailing over the terms that that they will trash the people who are New Age, but they do stuff themselves, which it's all kind of blurred. The boundaries are obviously clear in their mind of what is New Age and what isn't, but it's some of their stuff is just as wacky as the people that other people are doing. So this is why I'm not sold on the primary motivation being jealousy. I think it is a kind of a confusion of it's got to be a lot of things that bug us as humans are stuff that's based on a previous experience, and we can't shake it off. We need to work through it. Other things keep triggering it. Okay, next thing. As I say, that a lot of these people don't have a big following. Maybe because people can just identify when you are putting out horrible, poisonous, unuseful material. It's not because other people are keeping you down. And the audiences they do have, it seems to be just this echo chamber of they'll upload a video and then all their comments, it's always the same people. It's just a little club to say mean things about certain people. And it is basically a witch hunt because their followers will suggest, oh yeah, I want you to review this person next, review that person. But it's not, like I said, it's not review. It's just one person sitting there looking at someone's video and trashing them. And they always do this weird thing. Oftentimes, they'll have a picture of the spiritual leader they don't like, and then their face will be in the corner, like going, ooh. So like every time. So like, they get a picture of the spiritual teacher looking really serene and mystical, and then they'll be in the corner there going, ooh. So, and some, I even saw one person, they literally just uploaded a picture of an emoji of like a poop. I mean, how is that? How can I take your video seriously if you're just going to be that childish? I mean, I'm childish, but I hope in a slightly more constructive way. And I try to be a bit more creative. If I don't like somebody, I'm not just going to put a picture of a poop next to their head. It's like, why would I be drawn to watch somebody's video presentation when they've already told me in advance what they think, rather than actually doing a genuine, kind of a breakdown and analysis. So also, they will interpret any response from the spiritual teacher they attack as justification for what they're doing. And when that person objects, they will say, well, I must be over the target because they objected. But then conversely, they will say, that person hasn't responded, therefore I must be over the target. I don't know what to do with that. So whatever your response is, they would have passed it through that filter already. They must be onto something because of whatever response the spiritual teacher gives. If the spiritual teacher does anything or does nothing, it means they are over the target. Okay. So let's get down to it. It's bullying. It's bullying, pure and simple. It is tantamount to religious persecution. It's the same thing. To go chasing people and thinking you have the authority on a particular system of belief or on the esoteric realm in general. It's not healthy to trash other people's ideas. Now, I've seen lots of things I consider to be like really, really wacky and teachers who are literally just creating mythologies for the sake of it. But I hope when I do think these things are nuts, I would choose to I would choose if I thought it was ridiculous, I would talk privately with Magenta, with my friends and family. I wouldn't just upload a video ranting about them and tearing it down, because how can I even quantify that they're wrong? Now, sometimes I make silly videos and I hope that I know that they are taken with the humour I kind of intend, because there's certain concepts which keep sort of cropping up, and I do find them amusing, and some of them are potentially sinister, and I'm trying to kind of soften that, like the obsession with artificial intelligence, and everybody's channeling artificial intelligence, or that they're a clone, or that they're a cyborg. I can't get on board with it. I think it's silly, and it's kind of mean. It's not. It's come on. It's not intelligent. It's fun for a while, but just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that they're a clone or a cyborg, or that they're channeling demons or AI. We're complicated human beings with complicated psychology, and it's beautiful to explore each other's ideas. Yes, there are many, many eccentric people in the spiritual movement, but then there's many, many eccentric people in the music industry, in the art industry. Everybody has their use. It's a conglomeration of ideas to bounce around. You don't want to get mean. Have some fun with it, by all means. I justify my fun that I have sometimes, and I have fun with certain concepts which are kind of popular or in fashion at the moment. But I wouldn't want to focus on a particular individual, because that's just mean. That's a witch hunt, and this is what these people are doing. And do they really want to be known for that? Do they really want to think? I'm not sure what their ultimate motivation is. Is it for the person to come forward and apologise and say, "You got me"? I think the shame is we could be friends if these people had introduced themselves to us in a different way, rather than, it's like someone knocking at your door and your first introduction to them is, "I don't like you. I don't like your work. I think you're scum, and I'm going to try and convince everybody that you're the devil." How is that intelligent? It's not. Come on, we're adults. The hope is that we can get past this. How can you ever get to the truth if you're too hung up on your personal misgivings about someone? And what gives you the authority anyway, that you can identify when a person is good or evil? I have fun with it to a degree, if you've seen any of my little sketches or whatever. But it's more like I'm being like in Christianity in medieval times. I believe they did this thing called the Feast of Fools, and it's when they would have fun with their own spirituality as a way of just kind of making it more accessible, I guess, and then going back to more solemn, respectful kind of study and prayer afterwards. And that's what I'm doing. I love this whole spiritual exploration thing. It absolutely fascinates me. I'm particularly into the mystical Christianity side of it. And a lot of people could think, well, New Age, I don't even like that term anyway, isn't compatible with Christianity. But it's all an exploration. I don't want to categorize it as one thing or the other. To be honest, the only thing I'm really seeing needs categorization is the haters, because this is the thing which leads to, healthy spiritual debates turning into, people start developing factions, and that goes weird, man. That's always gone weird. With the whole kind of vibe with religion throughout history, people start, having a problem with just small differences in terms of what they believe in, and then you've got hundreds of different factions all debating something which they can't really quantify anyway. Nobody has presently got the absolute authority on everything. They can only share their experiences. Certain spiritual teachers might say they have the authority, and it might wind you up. But is it really worth turning on your camera and making a hate video? Because, to be honest, the only person that they're going to expose is themselves by their own kind of anger, and it's not good. It's not good for anybody. So I think their ultimate aim is power. But bullies always want power, and you can't show that they've upset you. I've looked online, ways to deal with online bullies, and there's lots of different approaches. I'm certainly not going to name these people, even though they go about naming people, because I don't want to promote them or expose them. If anything, I offer the olive branch. Maybe you could do an interview with me. I don't know. Who better to give you the scoop on Magenta Pixie than our husband, who's known her for 18, 19 years. I wouldn't really need to prepare because I'm not hiding anything. I don't feel like I need to have some clever, articulate response to cover some weird question. It's like, authenticity. I don't need to prepare for that. So whether they would actually do that, I don't know. Maybe I could do a live so to show it was unfiltered. I don't know. I don't know if they'd be interested in that. I mean, obviously they could just take this video and say, oh, he's objecting, therefore I'm over the target. You can see the cycles that you go around in. If you get into a certain state of thinking, anything the person does, you will take that as reinforcing what you already think. So I think that's all the points. I made a little document here, and I think did I present myself well and professionally? Okay, well, that's for you to decide. Okay, so thank you to everybody today. I don't want to keep revisiting this topic. But it's meant as kind of an open address to anybody who has been spiritually bullied and persecuted, and maybe to people who feel like they want to be the bully. I do have sympathy. I do have respect. I know we can get into weird ways of thinking. So my hope is to just illustrate that we're normal people, and it's a shame we can't all be friends. Peace, yeah? Peace and love. Yeah, it's a hippie concept. Peace and love and light. You can't just I'm not sure what my closing point was there now. That's it. Sometimes I've seen these people say, when they attack someone and then they respond, they will say, well, that's not very love and light, is it? That's not very love and light. As if we've all got this central, scroll of like, you must display love and light at all times. But that's like going up to a monk in a monastery, poking him with a stick, following him around, poking him with a stick. And when he finally gets angry and tells you to get lost, you say, well, that's not very forgiving, is it? Come on, that's just immature. Let's all just be humans. We are a spiritual community of humans. You can't not be a spiritual person. Every human being has that divine spark in them. We're all trying to explore it and figure it out. So let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. And let's all be friends. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And have a great day. And I'll see you soon.